And some others may actually not be able to join us, but they have asked for the recording of our session. Or some of you might want to go back to these, to some ideas that we're going to cover today. And so we're recording this session. So, awakening purpose and passion, which I also would like to entitle as the heart of teaching, really. The heart of teaching is this: our passion, our purpose and passion in making a difference in the lives of our students. So, in the session today, we will put ourselves in the best disposition so that we are not just going to cover the curriculum. We want to really make a difference in the lives of our students. Igniting the moral core, teaching with passion and purpose. I'm sure you've come across this quotation: the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates. But today in our session, we are being invited, be a great teacher who inspires, who makes a difference. Think about the students that you had last year, because I know some of you may have been teaching for years. Think about those that passed through your classrooms and imagine the impact that you may have actually made on their lives, to the point that someday some of these students will come back to your classroom as a successful professional, and they will not remember the subject matter you taught them, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember how kind you were to them, how you dealt with them, how you addressed them, and even showed affection for them, making it very clear to them that you were not just interested that they pass the subjects, but that you were interested to see them grow up to be good men and women. And they will not forget that. That's what they will remember. Okay? Every now and then, I will shift to Tagalog. But if there is anyone in our audience today who may not understand Tagalog, please let me know. Okay? But sometimes, mas maganda yung pagdating sa pandinig natin in our own language, because many of us think in Tagalog, really. Some of us, in fact, may be thinking in Tagalog and then transliterating what we want to say in English when we speak in English. Okay, so we will talk about moral purpose. Bakit ang pagtuturo natin ay paraan para matutunan ng mga kabataan to do our subject, whatever subject we're teaching, what it means to be good, to do good, to choose good. And I always would add, even if it is difficult, even when no one is looking, and even when others are not, being good. That's what we want to develop in our students. And then we will look into why, the purpose of our being in the teaching profession many times can affect the way we teach, the way we carry ourselves, and the way we handle our classes. Okay? So, remembering our why is the foundation of teaching. And I want you now to do a bit of reflection. Why did I become a teacher? Try to go back to the very first time that you decided to be a teacher. Bakit? Sa dami-dami ng pwedeng pagpili ang profession, bakit tayo nag-isip na magiging teacher ako? I am going to be inside the classroom, handling kids. Why did we consider that? When we saw from our experience, we saw for ourselves kung paano naghirap ang maraming teachers because of the students. Students na pasaway, students na maingay, students na hindi sumusunod sa instruction, students na nag-aaway. And yet, we decided to become a teacher. Why? Okay, we have different reasons. Here's the reality in the Philippines. In the Philippines, as maybe in other countries as well, there are some who chose to be a teacher because they needed a job. Simply, kailangan nila ng pagkakakitaan, kailangan nila ng salary, kailangan nilang magdala ng pagkain sa bahay. And we need work, we need a job. Now, let me point out, there is nothing wrong with that. I mean, of course, we all need salaries. Of course, we all need to survive. Of course, we all need to eat. And so, there is nothing wrong with going into the teaching profession because we need a job. But here's a very important message that all teachers should understand very clearly. The teaching profession is so important. We might as well do it in the best way we can, even if our original purpose in the beginning was just because we need a job. But in fact, the teaching profession, as we're going to see it today, as you may have already seen it very clearly in your life as a teacher for many years, is more than just a job. The teaching profession is more than just mere employment. We've heard it so many times said, it is a vocation, it is a calling, it is a mission. So, the point of the this idea is, okay, we may have chosen to be teachers because we needed a job, but now we're going to do it more than just as an employment, but as a mission, a vocation. Let me see. There are now 19 of us in the chat, in the Zoom room. Can I ask you to please type in the chat box, how long have you been in the profession? I'm going to put mine. I have been in the teaching profession for 33 years. Okay, Ma'am Santos is 24. Ma'am Dayag is on her second year. 23 years na si Ma'am Garcia. Very nice. Almost 8 years from Ma'am Reyes. Been in the teaching profession for 31 years now. Wow. Ma'am Ancheta, Ma'am Lenny. 4 years, some more than 20. Fantastic. I know some of you are following our session as a group. So we are more than just 19 really here. Sister Norma, 50 years. Fantastic. Imagine the hundreds, maybe even thousands of students whose lives you have touched. You have made a difference. That's the teaching profession. The longer we stay there, the more lives we are able to touch. Okay, so here's another question I want you to consider. At what moment in your life as a teacher, I saw 20, 30, 25, 50, sister, what moment reminded you that teaching is your calling? Was it when a student came to you to thank you? Someone, especially a student who was having a tough time in the subject, struggling. And then finally, she understood the lesson and she's very grateful. Was that the moment? Or was it during a graduation ceremony where someone you were not expecting to come to you, to embrace you, to hug you, to tell you, thank you, ma'am, thank you, sir, thank you, sister? Was that the moment? Or was it that moment when you realized you were making an impact? Or some of you may have realized it in your prayer. While you were praying, you were considering, wow, students. young people have become better sons and daughters of God because I taught them. Sabi ni Sir Mark, during my seminary days, when students thanked me for giving a seminar, fantastic. Sister, the change I brought to my students, especially when they return after graduating and become professionals, fantastic. And I assure those of you who have been only in the profession for a few years, this will also happen to you, as I've seen it happen so many times. Students coming back, they want to shake your hand. No, they don't want to shake your hand only. They want to hug you. They want to embrace you. And some of them, that's their way of saying, Ma'am, Sir, thank you very much. I am who I am because of you. Tapos ikaw naman, sasabihin mo, ito naman, sino ka nga ba ulit, iho? We don't even remember their faces, their names, but they have never forgotten us. Maybe that's the moment when we realize, wow, this is a calling. This is not just a profession, an employment, but a real call from God. God has chosen us to be the ones forming other young people to become not just good in math, good in science, good in English, but good people, human beings. So, teaching as a moral endeavor, it's a way of forming people in goodness, in teaching them what it means to do good, to be good, to always choose goodness. This is a an expertise of Noddings, who made it very clearly in her studies. I mean, saw very clearly in her studies that we are not just here really teaching a subject, whatever subject that is given to you, math, English, science, social studies, Araling Panlipuna, Filipino, whatever subject it is. Through our teaching, we are able to make our students understand what it means to be loved, to be cared for, and in the process, they also learn to love and care for others. You cannot put a price tag on that one. It is in the capacity of the teachers to be able to teach this kind of learning, which they cannot understand or learn outside the classroom. Maybe, I mean, not maybe, but in the first place, they should learn it at home. The primacy of the parents as the first educators of their children. Sabi nga nila, dapat bago pa pumasok ang bata sa loob ng classroom, sa bahay, natutunan na dapat nila what it means to be courteous, to be kind, to be respectful, to be caring, not to tease, not to... Those things they should have already learned at home. But we too teach that inside the classroom in a very special way. For those of you who are in preschool, we teach them, in fact, how to get along well with other human beings. More than any subject, that is one of the things that we, in the first place, try to develop in them, knowing how to live side by side with other human beings. That's why you are playing a very important role, my dear preschool teachers. So, moral purpose. According to Nuddings, these are the things, in fact, that we are able to teach our students inside the classroom, whatever subject has been entrusted to us. In fact, this is the reason why I prefer the expression, teachers, you are entrusted with students to take care of. You are not just given a subject to handle. You are entrusted with young people to form. to mold the minds of, to take care of. Because by teaching them math, science, English, whatever subject, we will be able to develop in them fairness, empathy. We make them do group work. They develop empathy, getting along well with others, being fair to their classmates, integrity. We keep on repeating this. Do not cheat. Don't copy. Eyes on your own paper. Be punctual. These are all part of developing integrity. And then an advocacy. In fact, that's one of the things we're going to go more deeply into. We are going to develop a certain advocacy, a certain life of virtue that we would like to develop in our students, depending on what core values we personally may have and our school may have chosen to be the core values of the institution. So then, in the classroom, we apply this. We consider how those four core values, core virtues, can be applied. And they become like the what determine our rules. Okay. I hope my sound is okay. According to the message here, cannot control mic with AirPods. So, um, according to the advertisement for this series, it was highlighted that we're going to, in a very special way, pattern many of the things we're going to discuss according to the primed model of Dr. Marvin Berkowitz, the author of Primed for Character Education. And Primed stands for prioritization of character formation, relationship. The only way to develop character is when we develop relationship. Teachers to students, students among themselves, teachers to parents, and parents among themselves, and parents to children, and the children to their parents. In letter I is for internalization or intrinsic motivation. That the students will do good and do the right thing, not because of externals, reward or punishment, threats, or dangling, offering them something, a gift, so that they will do good to get a reward. No, but that they are going to internalize it. Gagawa sila ng kabutihan kasi gusto nila, not because they want a reward or they are just avoiding a punishment. M is for modeling. Teachers. The only effective way to teach character is through the powerful example of our life. So, and now that I'm talking to teachers, I want to emphasize this. Teachers, please do not resort to shouting, screaming, yelling. Please do not resort to foul language, bad words. There is just never a justification for it. Mr. Rentoy, kung kilala mo lang ang mga estudyante namin, may sungay na sila. That still does not justify shouting, screaming, yelling, profanities, bad words, because we cannot teach character except through our example, through the powerful example of our life, modeling. Empowerment. We are effectively in this seminar, we are empowering you teachers to be effective character formation formators. And you, in your in your turn, should form the students, empower the students to work on becoming good men and women of character. Because character education consists in nurturing the flourishing of human goodness. So that's letter E, empowerment. And then finally, D stands for developmental pedagogy. That character formation is not an overnight thing. It is developmental. It may take years. And that's why We work not just to help the kids pass a quiz tomorrow. We're working as teachers, as good, great teachers, sabi nung first slide natin kanina, we're working to become great teachers because we are looking at students becoming good human beings through these years, not just today, not just in the next class period, not just this school year, but throughout their lifetime. That's developmental pedagogy. Here's another quotation from Dr. Berkowitz. Good character education is good education. And most likely, your schools value character education, character formation. Maybe that's why your teachers, your supervisors, your principals registered you and told you attend that session. Otherwise, they would be looking for seminars like uh, how to develop love for reading. Okay, then we will not tackle that here, but there are many seminars out there that cover that. Or how to make students fall in love with math. There are many seminars like that available out there. But no, your principal, your supervisor, your coordinator asked you join this because we value character education, which is what good education really is all about. So that's what we are here for. We want our mindset to be like this. I do not just teach subjects, I teach children. I do not just cover a curriculum, I make a difference in the lives of my students. And that is purpose. Let's go to passion. Passion as fuel. Energizing the classroom. Research shows that if the teacher is passionate, students pick it up. They too become passionate in studying the subject. Our enthusiasm motivates and energizes students, and that helps create an engaging learning environment. I'm sure we can look back to some of our past teachers in grade school, in high school, who were passionate. Maybe it's because of them that we decided, I want to be a teacher, like that exciting teacher I had in grade school, in preschool, in high school. It's contagious. Passion is contagious. There are so many research that supports the idea that teacher passion impacts in a positive way student learning and achievement. Here is what those studies show. Number one, increased student motivation and engagement. Passionate teachers are more likely to be enthusiastic and engaging in their teaching, which is what sparked student interest and motivation. Passionate teachers can create a positive and supportive learning environment where students feel more comfortable taking risks and making mistakes, which can further encourage learning. Number two, studies show na kung ang teacher ay passionate, nag-i-improve ang quality ng teaching. Passionate teachers are more likely to dedicate extra time. Yan. I've worked for 33 years in different schools. I started in CRC College, and then I went to Iloilo to start Westbridge School. Meanwhile, before being able to start it, I was working in Washung Chinese school there. And then I worked in St. Joseph. And then I went to Southridge, where I served as principal of intermediate school and vice principal of high school. And there I taught for 15 years. And then I went to the University of Asia and the Pacific for 9 years. And then I helped start Bannister Academy, which is now in Antipolo. And then I spent 5 years in Northfield School. And then I went to Sri Lanka for 14 months to also do teacher training. I've seen different types of schools with different types of culture. I've seen a school where the culture is 4:30 ang dismissal ng teachers. 4:15 pa lang, 4:10 pa lang. Umaali-aligid na yung mga teachers sa bandic clock or dun sa biometrics. Hinihintay mag 4:30, as soon as 4:30, log out. Where's the passion there? Para bang not a single second longer because we're not being paid anymore after 4:30. But but I've also seen teachers who are in school chatting with parents, chatting with students, running a club, a sports club, or um, how do you call this? Journalism club, coming up with newspaper issues for the campus journal, for the campus paper, even until evening. Yan. I've seen passionate teachers who hindi nagbibilang. Ayan. Hindi nagbibilang. Hindi yung iniisip na, ay, hindi, wala namang overtime pay to eh. Never mind. Uwi na ako. So, I, I've seen these kinds of passionate teachers and they affect the quality, the teaching quality. You can be sure because they are really devoted teachers. And I know some of you are like this. Saturday, Sunday, checking papers. Walang overtime pay yan. Hindi yan kasama sa chine-check ng attendance. But you check papers, you make grades, you write your unit plans, even on a Saturday or on a Sunday. And you stay up late to finish because you want to submit the grades on time, because you want to return the test papers to the students on time. That's passion, that's dedication, and you can be sure quality teaching is happening. And that motivates passion, that kind of passion can motivate teachers to even want to continue growing. And I will have to commend all of you who are here right now in our session. That's passion. When you can very well be doing something else. But no, especially if you registered for this seminar, not because your principal told you, not because your directress, director, coordinator asked you to, but you want to because you want to grow as a teacher. That is passion. Number three, sabi ng research, if the teacher is passionate, it enhances student learning and achievement. Passionate teachers can help students develop a deeper understanding of the subject matter, can encourage critical thinking skills of the students. Passionate teachers can create a more positive and supportive learning environment, which can help students feel more confident and capable in their learning. And studies have shown this, that students with passionate teachers, they tend to have higher levels of academic achievement and engagement. Number four, teacher retention and well-being. Teacher passion is also linked to higher levels of job satisfaction and overall well-being, which leads to increased teacher retention. They stay on for a long time in the profession. As we saw earlier, some of our friends here in the Zoom room have been at it for decades. That's passion. So then, inside the classroom, passion is what fuels the teachers to be creative, to resort to humor, to try to be better storytellers. and to come inside the classroom enthusiastically. They bring it. That's why the first slide earlier shows it's contagious. Passion as fuel. This is what energizes the classroom. It has an impact on the students. Studies show that 85% of students say teacher enthusiasm greatly boosts their engagement. So, my dear fellow teachers, the session today is like an invitation. Uy, be passionate. Be passionate about teaching, about your profession, about your vocation. And then be passionate about the students becoming better persons, better human beings. That's definitely far better than simply, I have a salary. But okay, some people are motivated by that. It's a job and we get a salary. Good. That's why many times in my 33 years of experience as an administrator and as a teacher working with other fellow teachers, if the teacher's purpose is only income, money, it's very easy for her or him to lose steam, to lose their gana, yung tinatawag natin sa Tagalog na gana. Nawawalan sila kagad ng gana for the profession, especially pagka ang na-assign sa kanilang class is a challenging one with a number of students na pasaway, hindi sumusunod sa utos ng teacher. That becomes a burden. If at the back of the mind of the teacher, I'm just here for the salary. On the other hand, a teacher who is fueled by that purpose, I'm here to make an impact in the lives of my students. Ay, kahit anong hirap ng um, klase ng mga estudyante, she will keep on going and getting better and better even in what he or she is doing. So then, the impact on student formation especially. Kanina, pinakita natin, even academically, students are affected in a positive way if the teacher has passion. But now I'm saying even more so, information in character and values. Teaching influences student character, empathy, and resilience, shaping who they become beyond academics. And that's why I hope we can always go back to bakit ba ako nag-teacher? It's not just because I'm an expert in my field. And I'm sure some of you who have been teachers for decades, nagkaroon siguro kayo ng ganitong klaseng colleague na para bang ang purpose nila for being a teacher is it's their opportunity to flaunt their expertise in math, in science, in English, and whatever subject that they are teaching. That's why I'm I'm a big fan of preschool teachers because many times you cannot even quote unquote flaunt your expertise in math, science, and English to these kinder kids. And most of the time, what we have to what keeps us going, the preschool teachers, is because of your influence on the character of the kids, on their empathy, on their being able to deal with each other with kindness, on their being able to teach with the to deal with the adults with courtesy, with respect, shaping who they become way beyond subjects, academics. And then a passionate teacher who has a purpose can encourage critical thinking and social emotional skills that nurtures a deeper sense of purpose and belonging to the students. Okay, It is purpose that will enable us to overcome burnout. Okay? It is sense of purpose that will enable teachers, especially or in a special way, to overcome tendency to get burnt out. As a principal for many years and executive director of that school in Iloilo, and then person in charge of personal formation in other schools, I've seen this very clearly. Kung magbubukas ang school year ng June, dati laging June ang opening natin, ano? Pag nag-open ang school ng June, I have to be on the lookout for teacher burnout by August. 2 or 3 months from the start of the school year, you have teachers who are going to start feeling getting burnt out, getting tired, getting exhausted. Especially those passionate teachers na day one pa lang, ibubuhos nila, ibibigay nila ang lahat para sa mga estudyante. By August, we have to be on the lookout if there are um, superintendents, supervisors, administrators who are here. I'm sure you've also observed it. It is around the third month when you have teachers who will start feeling the brunt of tiredness and exhaustion. And it is at that moment, it is during that time when you will have to talk to them about why are we in the teaching profession? What is our purpose? And why we have to keep on burning, why we have to keep that passion for making a difference in the lives of our students burning and not giving up. And minsan, what I discovered as a principal, as an administrator, minsan, all it takes is an afternoon of teachers celebrating the victories, small and big ones, of the first 2, 3 months, celebrating that they have been able to survive all the way to the third month. Sometimes a big push is to tell the teachers, okay, this weekend we are going to have an excursion. We're going to go on a field trip. I mean, it doesn't have to be very expensive. It doesn't have to be a spectacular event, but sometimes to give the teachers a bit of break from the daily grind of lesson plans, unit plans, and disciplining a class, and then to get the teachers to enjoy each other's company in that uh, afternoon of birthday celebration, celebrating all the birthdays of the past month or of the first 3 months of the first quarter. And that's enough to keep some of them going. But yes, we have to find a way of keeping the fire burning because people get tired. We get tired. So then, practical strategies to integrate purpose and passion. Align curriculum with values. Use your moral compass to guide content and teaching methods. That's why core values are very important. And teachers should not be only given the seminar on the core values of the institution, the core values of the school, the core values of the a Benedictine school, like that. No, whatever it is that guides the institution, they should not be given that only during the orientation, and then they will not hear again about it until years later. That has to be a constant refrain. Those core values, what we stand for, what we consider to be most important among the so many values and virtues. Why do we choose this? And the teachers have to be constantly reminded of them in a faculty meeting, in faculty mentoring, in faculty discussion. They have to come out again and again because they are what we will align our curriculum with. We will teach subjects according to those values, and that we will bring out those values in what we are teaching our students. Here's another way of integrating purpose and passion. Make sure to make real world connections with whatever we are teaching. Incorporating, for example, service projects and current issues in our lessons, in our discussions. For example, teachers who always tell the students, class, come on, study hard. Study hard because that's the only way that you someday can fix society, can fix what is wrong in the world today. The students will now not just see your subject as passing a quiz, passing a test, passing an exam. They will see your subject as, I need this subject for me to be a good professional and change the world for the better in the future. This thing should come out of our mouth frequently. Class, I need you to take this subject seriously because this is how you will be able to find solutions to the crisis that we see in society today, in the world today, in morals today. Or what should come out of our mouth again and again? Class, please do not cheat. I expect you to be honest, to be responsible, because I don't want you to end up like some of our politicians as we see in the newspapers, in the news, in prime time balita. That's why I want you to always have that in mind, to be honest, to be truthful, to be upright, to be sincere. Because someday you are the ones who are going to be there in Congress, in Senate, in Malacanang, and we need honest people. This thing should come out of our mouth over and over, again and again, to the point that the students know that my teacher, this teacher of mine, is not just interested in me passing a subject. He, she is interested in seeing me be the best human being I can be, able to change the world for the better. So, integrate purpose and passion. And then for those of you who are teachers of higher levels, as you go up higher in basic education, and even more in a special way for those who are in post basic ed, student voice and leadership, empowering the students to lead and express themselves authentically, and then to make an impact in the society themselves. Okay, I mentioned earlier burnt out. It is very easy to get burnt out in this profession because a teacher is like a candle slowly burning itself for the good of our students. How do we make sure we do not fall into that sad state of being burnt out? Recognize those that bring about stress. And then self-care strategies. I'm going to give you 5 in a while. And then support networks. Our faculty should be a bunch of best of friends. Administrators, principals should find ways to build community among the teachers, to build camaraderie and friendship among the teachers. My mentor, Dr. Paul Dumol, even I remember him saying very often that teachers should enjoy each other's company. watching plays together, going to theaters together, because they share the same common interest in growing, in learning. And there should be opportunities for teachers to be breaking bread, eating together, dining out. And while I mentioned watching plays, I firmly believe that really teachers should be able to have that leisure of being able to watch a play in Newport, in Soler Theater. Pag-ipunan natin, hanapan natin ng sponsorship, ng, ng budget, but uh, it's one great way that we can really grow culturally and yes, even humanly, that we are able to appreciate the finer things in life. Sabi nga ni Paul Dumol, dapat yung salary ng teacher is such that he or she should be able to afford being able to watch a play in CCP, in Tanghalang Pilipino, in repertory, or if that salary is not, that kind of salary is not possible, the school will have to find ways for being able to expose teachers to that kind of, well, okay, it's entertainment, but really it is professional growth, personal growth. And then number four, we keep on going back to our why. Bakit ba ako nag-teacher? Okay, let me share with you 5 self-care strategies. Okay, so that we do not get burnt out, do we do not get exhausted, exasperated, and effectively our why, our purpose, and our passion die out. Here's the first: protect your boundaries. Work ends when it ends. I mean, sure, we want to um, work beyond the usual. We bend backwards to help our students, but people get tired as machines also need sometimes to rest. We are not machines. So, what to do? Set a specific time to stop working each day, even if not everything is done. Something concrete. Use a phone alarm labeled step away at your chosen time. I mean, we cannot be enslaved to our work. We work and we use it as a way of growing as a person, doing good to other people. But at the same time, we have to make sure it does not end up uh, enslaving us. Boundaries help protect mental energy and prevent resentment or overcommitment. Number two, discover micro rest moments during the day. What are these micro moments? You know, building 1 to 3 intentional pause breaks, which doesn't have to be a very long time. It's just 1 to 2 minutes into our schedule where really we take a break from checking papers, from doing the unit plans, micro rest moments. As in, we just step outside for a while to breathe fresh air, to do 1 minute of deep breathing with your eyes closed. That's a micro rest moment. Or listening to 60 seconds of calming instrumental music in YouTube, in Spotify, and there's so many that you can find everywhere. It works because tiny resets reduce stress and they restore focus better than pushing through fatigue. Here's number three, similar to what I mentioned earlier, um, build a community, sub support system. Um, Very important that the supervisors, the principals are able to get the teachers bonded. We're in this together. And you can go to any of the other teachers for support, for help, for consolation, as you yourself make yourself available to the others to help. Find 1 to 2 fellow teachers to regularly check in with, online or in person. The buddy system is not only for students, that too can be very useful for us teachers. So, some ideas. Start a Friday coffee chat. I used to do this with Mr. Cortez when we were for 15 years together in South Ridge, where really we would just coincide taking coffee, but in the process, get to exchange. I mean, get to open up about difficulties, problems, concerns, challenges. And somebody is listening to you, as sometimes you be the one to listen. Create a messenger or Viber group for teacher wins and woes. Why it works? Because emotional support boosts resilience. Shared laughter and encouragement is perfect vaccine to burn out, getting burnt out. Very important that we are able to create that kind of atmosphere among the teachers. An environment, a culture that here we work together as a team. We're friends here, even better if we're able to create that kind of culture. Schedule joy like a lesson plan. This is the last of um, fighting um, being burnt out, no? Or self-care. Block out 1 to 2 times a week for an activity that makes you feel alive. What makes you feel alive? Dancing, painting, reading fiction, watching a K-drama episode, gardening, journal, writing, whatever it is. Each one of us will have different um, feeling alive activity na mention dito yung K-drama. Of course, there are some K-dramas that are so tense, full of tension and stress na parang you become stressed out watching, no? So you choose good ones that will make you really rest, entertained, and maybe even learn a lot. Um, I'm sure some of you may have watched Sky Castle. It's a K-drama. And I encourage teachers especially to watch it because there you get to see different kinds of parenting styles, and the kind of kids you will produce given the different kinds of parenting styles. In fact, parents should watch it so that they don't become helicopter parents. They don't become permissive parents. They don't become, you will see those different types of parents there and the effects on the kids, on the children. So, scheduling joy like a lesson plan, make it sacred. Treat it as like a non-negotiable, like as what we consider parent teacher conference, that dancing, that painting, that watching, reading fiction or watching a K-drama. Treat it like a very important part of your routine. It says here 1 to 2 times a week, an activity that makes you feel alive. Why does it work? Because joy recharges our spirit. A joyful teacher inspires more than a tired one. Okay, well, we have 5 minutes left. Very quickly, 5 practical strategies to reignite moral purpose. Here's the first one: daily dedication ritual. Begin every class silently by offering your work for the good of each student. Like in your mind, you're going to say, today I teach to shape hearts. Today I teach to form character. As a ritual to start the day, to start a class, to start the week. Here's another way: have the one virtue theme. Choose one virtue and make it your signature value throughout the year. That your students will know you to be the teacher who always talked about gratitude, who always talked about hard work, who always talked about perseverance, love, caring, whatever it is. Choose one and make sure that you never fail to highlight that virtue, talk about that virtue, mention it in class, refer to it in your lecture, in your class. Praise students when you see them living the virtue, coming up with a poster the whole year. At the end of the year, all the students will remember you for that being Miss Punctuality, Miss Kindness, Miss Courtesy, who insisted that we greet good morning, good afternoon, that we never fail to, etc. Here's number 3, purpose post-its. Ask students to write on a sticky note, what kind of person do I want to become? And then display them as classroom goals, not just the academic ones, to be to get perfect in this, to get high grade in this, but what kind of person do I want to become? Number 4, please don't be afraid to share with your students why you chose to become a teacher. And that's true for preschool all the way to high school. Share with your students your why. Why did you choose to be a teacher? Here's a 5th one: Mission Monday Minute. Every Monday, take 60 seconds to say, this week I will not just teach English, but resilience. This week I will not just teach science, but hard work. This week I will not just. What will be your mission for the week? What virtue, what value will you highlight in this week? And then you will keep that in mind for the rest of the week. Okay, well, unfortunately, we have no more time. In a while, I'm going to give you the link that you will use to claim your certificate. Passion and purpose is all about having the mindset that we are not just here teaching a subject. We are here to form character, to mold minds, to make a difference in the lives of our students. And that is what will keep us going, especially when it becomes tough, when things become challenging, when things become difficult. You are not just going to get bogged down by the nagpatong-patong na napakaraming dapat gawin. Deadlines that you have to meet. Now, at moments like those, you go back to your purpose, you re-enkindle your passion. Okay, I just posted there in the chat box the link that you can click to claim your certificates. And I'm going to give you a bit of time to do that now. Kindly please click on it. Make sure you write your email address correctly, fill up the form, and once you submit, once you click submit, wait a few seconds, you should receive your certificate bearing the signature of Dr. Thomas Licona and myself, representing your certificate of participation to an international seminar, because this